JP Morgan, the largest bank in America, is calling for $36 silver next year. Also, what did Jerome Powell say at the last meeting? Is the Fed going to be cutting rates in September? The U.S. national debt continues to rise, now well over $35 trillion. And gold futures broke 2,500 for the first time ever. Let's get into it. Buy your gold and silver online from SD Bullion. New customers get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new. Thank you so much for watching. I do sincerely appreciate it. Here we are looking at silver price, currently sitting at $28.74. Of course, silver price doesn't change over the weekend, so we will see where it goes Sunday night moving into Monday. But if we back up just a few weeks ago, we can see silver hit $31.44, and since then it's dropped almost $3. So silver is moving lower. However, when we look at gold, it is on fire right now. The current price, $2,453 an ounce. So gold is only about $20 or $30 away from its all-time high. Of course, we're talking about spot price. However, when we look at the futures market, currently sitting at $2,486, but the intraday high, the highest it ever got, you can see down here, $2,522. So this is the highest gold price has ever been. In fact, it's never been over $2,500 before, but we saw that just a few days ago. Where's it going to go when the markets open? That's what I want to know. All eyes were on Jerome Powell at the last Fed meeting. Obviously, if the Fed hints that they're going to be lowering rates in September, this is massive for precious metals. He was a little bit tight-lipped. He said a reduction in our policy rate could be on the table as soon as the next meeting in September. That said, he stressed the Federal Open Market Committee, or the FOMC, has made no decisions about future meetings. So he's saying it's possible we could see a rate cut in September. This is huge. September 18th is the next FOMC meeting, and CME Group's FedWatch tool is definitely predicting that there will be a rate cut. In fact, it's not if rates will go down, but by how much. Check this out, 78% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut and a 22% chance of a 50 basis point rate cut in September. That would be massive for metals because it would absolutely crush the dollar. And when we look to November, they're definitely predicting rates are going to continue to go down, possibly a second rate cut at that point in time. So it's looking like rates are finally going to be falling, which again, this is bad for the dollar and good for metals. At least it would push precious metals prices higher if this happens. I do want to briefly look at the U.S. debt clock. You can see national debt has jumped over $35 trillion, and I did not see any of the mainstream media covering this. Now, obviously, there is a lot going on in our nation and around the world, but not only did it silently jump over 35 trillion, but now it's 35.12 trillion and rising. Take a look at the debt per citizen, well over $100,000. Debt per taxpayer, well over $250,000. So I've been saying this for a long time. We're never going to get this debt paid off. It's going to continue to get worse. And honestly, the higher that I see the U.S. national debt climb, the more confidence I have in precious metals. I'm so happy I started stacking when I did. I'm still buying more gold and silver today to protect myself. This number could go to infinity. The dollar could hyperinflate and become worthless, but I will still have wealth because I put it outside of that system into real money, into physical precious metals. Speaking of physical precious metals, JP Morgan, again, this is the biggest bank in America. They're expecting silver prices to average $36 an ounce in 2025. So obviously they could go higher, they could go lower, they could bounce around, but the average they're expecting is $36 an ounce, which is $8 higher than silver is right now. So why do they think silver is going to go that high? This article points out 4 different factors, okay? The first is monetary policy shifts. With expectations of a rate cut on the horizon and ongoing monetary easing, silver stands to benefit from a weakening dollar and reduced opportunity costs associated with holding non-yielding assets like precious metals. So they're talking about rate cuts and this weakening the dollar. We already went over that in this video. But look, not only is it on the horizon, but it's expected to happen next month. So we could see silver spike up very shortly. If you don't have a position yet, I highly recommend getting one. Okay, the next factor is industrial demand. Silver's extensive use in various industrial applications, including electronics, solar panels, and automotive industries, is expected to drive demand. As technological advancements continue, the need for silver in these sectors is projected to grow, supporting higher prices. This is true. Obviously, solar panels use a lot of silver, and they're trying to make more and more of them. So I do think demand will increase for silver. They do point out that it is an inflation hedge. Persistent inflationary pressures make silver an attractive hedge as investors seek to protect their portfolios from eroding purchasing power. The demand for silver as a store of value is likely to increase. I absolutely agree with that. The Fed tried to get inflation under control. They could not get it back down to the 2% level, and now they're giving up and they're going to cut rates anyway. So inflation won that battle. And lastly, supply constraints. Mining challenges and geopolitical factors could lead to supply constraints in the silver market. Reduced supply coupled with increasing demand typically results in higher prices. Yes, we do have a lot of geopolitical factors going on right now. We have wars, we got fears of other wars starting, and this could lead to some supply constraints. We're not really seeing that very much right now, but it could be a factor next year. So are we going to see $36 silver? It is possible. And again, that would be a huge jump up from where silver is right now. In fact, if we look at the entire year, the highest that silver got was just over $32 an ounce. That's another $4 on top of the high, and they're expecting that to be the average next year. So if we see silver climb to around 32 by the end of the year, which is what I'm predicting, that silver will end the year at $32.33. If it's going to average 36, that means it's probably going to go up to 40 at some point. And what happens if the price doesn't go where the bank wants it to go? Well, we do have a little bit of a precedent here, right? Some of the executives over at JP Morgan were caught for manipulating the price of silver, gold, and platinum, and they went to prison. In fact, I believe there was 3 of them who ended up going to prison, one for 6 months, one for a year, one for 2 years, because it's illegal to do stuff like that. They were caught, and they're serving their time. So is the bank going to do this again? I kind of doubt it, but they have done it in the past, and they obviously have the ability to do it again in the future. So this is just something to be aware of. And that's going to wrap up our silver news for the week. Now, I'm really excited to see what happens to silver next week, especially when the markets open on Sunday night and going into Monday morning. I think we could see some fireworks. I don't know if the price is going up or down, but I'm expecting volatility. So hold on to your butts. It could be a crazy week. And if we do see the price dip down, that's going to be a great buying opportunity because I'm expecting big things for silver in the coming weeks and months, certainly in the coming years and decades. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Silver Dragons out.